try to focus on my 4 or 5 strongest songs. I work with a producer engineer, so I think just trying to get out the best material that I have in the shortest possible
Period of time. Okay.
I mean, I've thought about doing a full length, and I probably could, but this seems like just a little more manageable for me. I guess to focus on quality over quantity, and not that full lengths are.
No. That just, I always find that to be quite curious because, okay, back in April, or March, the end of March, I was fortunate to be able to check a quote unquote bucket list item off when I interviewed Ann Wilson of Heart.
Oh, cool.
Okay. And I said to her, why an EP? I mean, you're Ann Wilson of Heart. Why an EP? She said, because I would rather write 4 really good songs than 12 or 13 so-so songs and have 4 only be good anyway. And 2 things about that bothered me. And then she went on to say about the attention span of the people who are purchasing music because of the way it's distributed today via download or via this or that or the other thing. And 2 things about that bothered me. They really did. They bothered me because, number one, she's Ann Wilson. Okay? I'm pretty sure no matter what she sells, every album or what she writes is going to sell. Every album is not going to have, I mean, unless it's like the Beatles' White Album or something where every song is a hit. Very few albums every song appeals to everyone around the world.
Right.
I'm sure there are people on the White Album that look at the Beatles' White Album and say, I really don't care for this. And somebody else, what, are you crazy? So again, music is it's kind of like beauty. It's in the eye of the beholder, So it kind of bothered me when she said to me, I'd rather write just 4 really good ones.
Yeah.
And when you just said that, it bothers me only because it's like you're selling yourself short as an artist. And if you're not going to believe in you, why should Nash believe in you? Why should the guy down the street buying your EP believe in you? So I'm not knocking an EP in any way, shape, or form, nor am I knocking your decision to do so. What I'm saying is, some people are good and they just lack the ability to realize they're good, and other people don't have the confidence to go forward, and other people just don't have the money. It's a big thing, and because today more and more people are putting out EPs, and their excuse is what I said. Ann Wilson said, people's attention spans. I'd rather put out 3 really good songs. Well, you're going to do more than 3 in concert. Should we just only wait for those 3, and the rest are going to stink? I mean, what? So go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things you mentioned is it's something that I guess artists maybe don't want to talk about, but it's something that you can't avoid. It's the financial commitment, and the guy that I was working with, he did a great job. But I mean, it's hard to put the level of love and production that we did in those 5 songs, to expand that to 10 songs or 12 songs would be a little challenging, for budgetary reasons.
Well, full-length album's only 8, right? So
yeah, oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I totally get that, but I know your music. I know you. You're a very talented individual.
Thank you.
Even though we've really never sat down and talked like this, I'm involved in that community that you used to be in heavily, and I used to be in that community very heavily as well. So, I've seen you more than once at certain venues or open mics, or I mean, things happen. And you're very talented, and I just always marvel when I get that kind of response. That's why I asked, because one of the things I always preach to like younger musicians that come to me is very simple. Hey, you've got to believe in yourself before you believe in anything else. So. Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel about it,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I do believe in myself.
Good,
You know,
good.
and,
See that he's cured. There, she's cured.
You know, I mean, this is just the way I've done it, and like a lot goes into each song, especially with the way I'm producing them.
It's making my phone buzz.
Gotcha. So yeah, you know, I mean, I put a lot. It took a while. It took over a year. You know, like a year and a half to.
Where'd you do it?
A place called House of Vibes in Highland Park.
Oh wow. Okay.
The guy Kurt Ryle, he plays drums in the Gripweeds.
Oh no kidding.
So he.
Gripweeds play at the Record Collector all the time.
Yeah, I was there last
Oh,
show.
were you?
Yeah, very good.
That's like 5 minutes from my house.
Oh really? Oh cool. Yeah. So yeah, he really put on the producer's hat, the engineer's hat, and really helped me through the process. And I've done 2 EPs with him now. So, and I'll probably do a third, you know, when I get the songs together. Or
Very
maybe
nice.
a full-length album. I don't
So
know.
there you go. So obviously you're comfortable with him.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
great,
he's
and that's
great.
a huge you know, it's one of those things where, you know, that's a relationship that is not always easy to come by, especially in music.
Yeah. You know, he has a great ear. You know, he kind of sees the big picture in terms of the different parts in the song. You know, when to do less, when to do more. He's got a lot of influences that he can call upon. You know, music that he's listened to, and just different kinds of stuff.
Right.
You know, so it was it's always a good experience, and it's always fun too. So I wouldn't hesitate to go back. And he played drums with me. We did a show at the Saint a couple weeks ago.
Oh, did you?
And I was in need of a drummer. My usual guy couldn't make it, so he stepped up, and he's a pretty awesome
It's not like
drummer.
he doesn't know the material, right?
Yeah, he knows the material. He can play just about anything. I mean, he's awesome in his band. So
Good for you. And
Yeah.
Good for him. If you're just tuning in, this is One More with Danny Coleman, and this is Michael Askin. And where are you from, Michael? Where are you from? Where are you from originally, and where are you hanging out now?
Originally, I'm from Central Jersey. I grew up in Montgomery Township.
Oh, okay. Between Princeton and Hillsborough?
Right smack in the middle between
Nice.
Princeton and Hillsborough. Lived in New Brunswick for a while. Lived in Highland Park. Now I hang out in Long Branch.
Long Branch.
Yeah.
I actually used to play. There was a restaurant, kind of a nice restaurant called the County Line Inn. Used to be right on 206
Oh yeah.
or the Great Road. Either going up towards Hillsborough, right?
Right,
there.
right.
Yeah, God, years ago when I had hair, and it wasn't
Well,
gray.
yeah, you know.
But yeah, I used to play up that way.
You're a drummer, right?
I am.
Is it? Okay.
And Latin percussion guy.
Oh, cool.
So,
Cool.
yeah, it was. Yeah, that's a nice area up there.
Yeah,
deer.
a lot of deer. I've unfortunately hit a few of them on the road. Yeah, but a lot of deer. A lot of developments coming up. Used to be farmland. Now it's.
They built that big old school out there, and
Yeah.
there's all kinds of things. I still go up that way sometimes. If I ever go up to see Peter Praza, I go up through.
Oh yeah.
To Somerville, I go up that way.
Yeah.
To the Dragonfly. So when did you start playing guitar? Was that your original instrument, or were you?
I played clarinet in the band in school, but guitar was like my first instrument that I just loved to play, and I started probably like I was about 11 or 12. My dad used to play. He taught me a few chords, taught me some basics. I started taking lessons, 13. Started doing playing in the jazz band, studying jazz for a little bit, but then I kind of went back to rock.
What gravitated you to jazz?
I remember like when I started playing jazz band in high school, the band director gave me the book of all the songs that they were doing, and I saw these chords with like triangles and different numbers, and I'm like, I thought I knew all the chords, but what's this plus sign and circle and all this stuff? So I went to my guitar teacher, and he was a jazz guy, and so he said, let's go through this, and I'll show you some of these chords, and he showed me like the jazz chords, and I got a copy of the real book, and we started. I just kind of got into it, it was a whole different, like a door kind of opened. But I never abandoned, the stuff I grew up listening to, like the classic rock.
Okay. Which was what? What was your, who did it for you? Who was your influence?
Well, I do remember, like, my parents always used to listen to Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. They had like a tape with a bunch of different songs, some Neil Young solo stuff, Stephen Stills solo stuff. So those four guys, that's kind of what I grew up on. And then I gravitated to the Stones. I went through a Led Zeppelin phase. A lot, yeah.
It's not a phase.
Yeah, no, it's still, I mean, it was just really like, I didn't want to listen to anything but Led Zeppelin. And now I listen to other stuff too. So it was mostly classic rock. And, when I was in middle school and high school, it was when the Seattle scene was big. Oh, so I liked those guys. Yeah. I liked some heavy music. And now I play mostly acoustic, more mellow stuff. But,
That's all right. I was a lead head. Still am a lead head.
Yeah.
It's kind of like...
It never leaves you.
One time, exactly. Mm-hmm. One time at one of the day jobs that I've had, I used to go out and I was a transport for a senior center. Mm-hmm. So I would go to people's homes and pick them up in their wheelchair and put them on a bus and buckle them in. And one day I picked up a gentleman in a wheelchair, older gentleman, and he had on a Marine Corps hat, United States Marines. Mm-hmm. And I said, "Oh, you were a Marine? Son, once a Marine, always a Marine."
Yes.
And I don't know whether to be shocked that he called me son or that or that he was,
Yeah.
But, and, I should know that, because my father was in the Marine Corps. And in fact, I was born on Parris Island,
Okay.
But the thing about that is, once you're a lead head, you're always a lead head. I think it's always in you, man.
Because some of those songs, it's like,
there are certain bands, Zeppelin,
mm-hmm.
the Stones, Eric Clapton,
right.
Steve. I even want to say Steve Miller, because that's not necessarily so. But there are certain bands though that just wrote material. The Allman Brothers, Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Oh, yeah.
They wrote material that has stood the test of time. Mm. It's through generations.
Yeah.
And, that kind of stuff sticks with you. I mean, my mother used to listen to Elvis Presley and Creedence Clearwater, depending on what she was doing.
Yeah.
If she was, like, in a good mood, it was Elvis Presley. If she was cleaning the house, it was Creedence.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But here, and I was, a kid, but yet, who knew 10 years later I'd be playing it in my first bar jobs when I was 17,
Yeah, and I think some of that music, like, that you heard when you were a certain age, like, it kind of takes you back there when you hear it again. That definitely happens with Zeppelin. That's probably why I always like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, because I just remember listening to all those songs when I was like 12 or 13.
The stuff that sticks with you.
Yeah.
And my cousin gave me Led Zeppelin 4. I'd been playing the drums for 6 months. She gave me Led Zeppelin 4 for my 12th birthday. Changed my life forever.
Yeah.
It did. That was it, man. I had to be like that guy. Uh-huh. Right? Just like you, Nash.
Right.
I had to be like you. See? And, I want to be like Tom, but I can't grow a beard like that.
Yeah.
It's a fine-looking beard he's got.
It's a good beard.
It is.
Strong.
It's a good beard.
Yeah.
Very good beard. That's a good beard. Good. Thanks.
Well, yours is good, too.
No, that's
it's a little...
They call me Colonel Sanders at work.
Oh, yeah.
It's Octobeard.
Octobeard. It's Rocktober, Nash. That's what it is. It's Rocktober. Rock. Okay, so how does all this affect who Michael Askin becomes as an artist?
Well, I was, as a guitar player, I kind of worked on being like a lead guitar player, learning all those songs, just trying to get in bands. Like when I was in college, in high school, after college, after I graduated college, I got into a band that was really like kind of a heavy, sort of like blues rock band.
Okay.
The influences were, Bad Company, Led Zeppelin, original band, but playing that real heavy stuff. And I was doing rhythm and lead. It was two guitars. It was a band called Loud Earth. It's a good name. So and it just gave me an opportunity to play that type of music. But at the same time, there was a little bit of a push and pull because I liked, songwriting. I liked really good lyricists and more mellow acoustic music too. So I was kind of doing that on my own, and I love being in a band setting and playing with other musicians and, just having that camaraderie with the other musicians too. But sometimes it's hard when you're in a band setting to get your song ideas across. So now I'm a little bit older, and I've got all these songs. I write as much as I can, and I just like the idea of just being able to tell the kinds of stories that I want to tell in the songs, and just having it be my thing. Yeah. Not that I'm selfish,
No, but right. I often think of why. When I was younger, I used to think, why does this great band? Why is this guy gonna go off and do his own solo album?
Yeah.
Why? You got this phenomenal band. Why do you need to do a solo album? Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But as you get older and you realize why, it's either to keep busy or it's either because you, like you just said, you can't get the ideas out there. But what you can get is some fabulous chicken parm pizza like we had tonight, right, Nash? That stuff was out of this world, and that came right here from Mr. Pizza Slice. Mr. Pizza Slice, they are a Red Bank institution with a new vibe. For over 45 years, Steve, we know Steve now, right? I feel like we know Steve. Don't you think? Steve? Good. Yeah. Steve operated Mr. Pizza Slice on Monmouth Street in Red Bank. However, the new owners have 100% kept the original pizza, which is called Steve's Original Pie. They've also added their signature Italian hot dog and French fries, which they've kept from Steve as well.
That's good.
New additions include pizzas with various toppings that can be ordered by the slice, hot and cold sandwiches, and smaller appetizer dishes. They've kept a lot of Steve's feeling there. They also kept the classic video game machines, but they've added delivery services, longer hours, and you can even go to Mr. Pizza Slice on Sunday now because there's Sunday hours. And I want to thank Mr. Pizza Slice for providing us with the pregame meal here out there. Tonight was chicken parm pizza and plain, right?
Right.
What did you have?
I had both.
Ah, Nash used to be anti-topping. I don't know what happened to him. Yeah, he was the plain guy, but
just anti for the sausage, pepper, and onion one. That's it.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Chicken parm pizza is good. I like buffalo chicken pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Pineapple, way to go.
Yeah.
Pineapple? I can't wrap my head around that.
Pineapple pizza, the Hawaiian pizza.
The Hawaiian thing, yeah. I know it's popular.
Ham, whatever else they put on there.
Yeah.
That's okay.
To each their own.
Did you ever grill a pineapple or anything at home? Did you ever try that?
Never. I do like the pineapple though, but not grilled.
Go out and get yourself a fresh pineapple and just throw it on the grill. Just to put some lines on it.
All right, just a little bit.
That's all. You don't have to grill it.
Sear it a little
bit.
bit.
Don't make it black. No,
Okay.
don't blacken it. Just
all right.
You go that way with it. Well, now there. See, there's something new.
Right.
Pineapple to you would be new on the grill, right?
Yes. Yeah.
How do you get new music? How does new music come to Michael Askin?
That's a good question. I think a lot of it. I guess I write songs about different things. Write a lot of it's been kind of relationship based stuff. So from life experience, but also from just listening to different types of music and figuring out what makes a good song a good song. What do I like about certain songs? And I read a lot. I read mostly like nonfiction stuff. So try to, pull stuff out of the stuff I read.
Okay.
Just a lot of different influences.
Yeah.
I guess like everybody else.
Yeah, people say that. Oh, life experience. I write about life experiences. I write about that.
Yeah.
So does everybody.
Right.
There's obviously even fiction writers. Something happened when they were a kid to make them come up with this great idea. To write this fiction story. Everybody writes about life experiences. I know it's tough to nail down.
Yeah.
One over the other type of deal. Do you have a favorite song of yours?
I think right now my favorite song is probably "Hard to Make a Living." It's on the new disc.
New disc.
And
Okay.
Speaking of life experience, it's kind of about being a singer-songwriter and trying to find a way to connect with the people listening to you. It sort of tells a story about kind of a rough night in a club or a bar, where you're playing at the end of the night, and some of the people there have kind of checked out. There's stuff going on. You hear the sound of broken glass. The cashier's counting the money, and that's based on a gig I played. But it's one of those. It's kind of a universal theme. I just thought it was interesting to write a song about being a singer and what you're feeling, when you're on the stage, and what you're kind of going through to try to communicate with the audience and the people listening to your songs.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Do you have, speaking of which, websites, social media? How can we find you so that you don't have to hear that broken glass? So we can put people in these
That's
bars
right.
for you.
Put people in seats. So if you go to www.michaelaskin.com,
Okay.
It directs you to my Facebook music site.
Oh, okay.
So all the songs are on there. Links directly to my Reverb Nation, and my Bandcamp site. That's probably the best, easiest way to get to me. Just myname.com. ASKIN.
Askin.
Yep.
See that? 5 letters. Ask in.
Simple.
Yeah. Simple stuff.
Yeah.
So that's your favorite. I mean, those gigs, we've all done those gigs.
Of course. Yeah.
Where it's 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and there's 3 people in the bar. There's more bar staff there than there are patrons,
Right.
patrons at that time. How do you handle a situation like that? Do you play like there's 30,000, or do you just kind of get it done?
I think I've grown up a little bit. It's hard at first, to not think about everything that's happening around you, to kind of lose yourself in the music, which is a little bit of a cliche, but that's what I think at a certain point you kind of have to do that. You kind of have to just exist in the moment and enjoy what's happening. I like playing my songs. I like playing, so as long as there's 1 or 2 people listening, that's really all I need.
Well, you don't know who they are.
Right.
If you don't recognize them, you have no idea who they are or what they do. They could be somebody that's there just to see you.
Yeah, exactly.
And how you react to situations like that. And B, if they're willing to listen, why not play for them?
Exactly. They're there. I'm there. I got a guitar. What else am I doing?
Do you, along those lines,
Mm-hmm.
do you have any funny stories or any kind of like the worst gig you ever did? Anything that ever happened?
Oh, sure. Well, this one always comes up. The band I mentioned earlier, Loud Earth, we kind of did a little bit of touring, and I think we were in Atlanta, playing kind of one of those thankless gigs where there really wasn't anybody there. And we didn't really need to have amps this big, but we had half stacks, our bass player had like a skyscraper type of amp, and so we're playing, there's maybe like 3 people there, and he has a beer on his top of his amp, and just the vibration of the bass, sort of the beer kind of like danced its way over to the side of his amp until it just fell and poured itself all over my amp. So there was this like screeching feedback, and just my amp went dead, and they had to plug me into the PA. That was like the best, I guess the best case scenario. So I played this whole show with almost like this weird clean signal going through the PA, and we had to spend like the next 24 hours just like taking my amp apart, cleaning all the electronics and stuff like that.
Did you get it to work?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's a really, yeah. And it was the bass, but the guy who was sort of responsible, he took the lead in taking it apart, and, so, but that sort of stuff happens, and it's just like a perfect storm of just
things
going wrong. Yeah.
I remember I've talked to musicians who've had, they were the first act on, and the last act was scheduled to go on at like 1:10 in the morning until 1:45 or something. They went on at 9. The owner wouldn't pay them until every act was done, and then he paid them in pennies.
Really?
Yeah, he paid them in rolled coin. Was another one. What my favorites are. Do you know Melissa Chill? You know Melissa by any chance?
I don't think so.
Okay. Melissa was touring, and they were going on a tour down to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
This was before cell phones.
Okay.
Before social media. And they pulled into a gas station to use the facilities.
Right.
And get gas. The bass player was asleep in the back seat. Everybody goes in the store. They come out. They get the gas. They get in the van. They leave. Several hours later, they turn around, and the bass player's not there. While they were all inside, he got up to go over and use the bathrooms.
Oh.
And they left him there.
Wow.
And they were already in Florida. They left him in Georgia, like 3 hours behind.
Oh, my God.
They had to turn around and drive back to. We left him at the rest stop. It's the last time anybody.
But he was
remembered
excited
seeing him.
about that.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Yeah. Well, cell phones do make things easier.
Well, they do in that case now. Kind of funny though.
Yeah.
You think of it, but so stories like
that's
that.
kind of the life of a bass player, I guess.
Think so?
People
Yeah.
are like,
No, it's just
he's only, he's there when you need him, but it's thankless.
True. I think bass player is probably the most thankless job in a band.
Yeah.
They only hold the entire bottom together.
They're
but
like the offensive linemen.
Yeah. They don't get the credit.
Right.
Correct. Again, this is OneMore with Danny Coleman. I am Danny Coleman. That's Michael Askin. Thank you for letting us come into your homes this evening. We are live from Monmouth Music right here in Red Bank, New Jersey, located at 30 Monmouth Street. Come on down, say hi to Mario, and see what he has in here. Right now, I saw a sign out there. If you're a drummer, 50% off some of the Zildjian cymbals. So come on in and,
You're a drummer.
check it out. I am a drummer. I was about to go check it out when I heard Nash say we got 5 minutes. So I was like, oh.
Nash, he's always on the clock.
He is. Nash is the glue that holds this program together. He's also the self-professed god of flannel.
Yeah.
So first, I don't know how many shows, Nash. First 25, 30 shows, you wore flannel until the summertime.
Yeah, pretty much.
So when not playing music, what occupies Michael? What do you do when you're home? He's, you know what? I don't want to play my guitar today.
I watch a lot of sports. Watch a lot of baseball. A lot of football.
Did you play when you were a kid?
Yeah, but not particularly well. I just kind of I'm the type of person that gets obsessed with certain things. So if I'm gonna watch a game, well, I'm a Philadelphia fan.
Yay!
So okay. Oh yeah, you're from.
I've suffered with the Phillies all my life.
Oh God, yeah. So I mean,
and the Flyers,
and the Eagles, and the Sixers, but better days are coming, I think.
That's right.
But yeah, I just tend to kind of absorb myself in the game and just, rather than putting it on and, doing stuff around the house, that's my thing. Watch a lot of movies and stuff, read a lot.
Who's your favorite author? Or don't you have one? You just read whatever interests you?
I read a lot of nonfiction, so I don't know, that I really have a favorite. I mostly like history stuff. And
Oh, yeah? What period?
Mostly I would say 1945 to the present.
Oh, so post-World War II?
Post-World War II, 60s. Some cultural history, because I love that music and stuff. So
when I was a kid, I couldn't get enough of the American Revolution. Growing up, I grew up in Hamilton Township.
Oh, yeah.
But literally I could walk out my house, down the street, make a right, cross the other street, and then straddle the line, and I was half in Trenton, half in Hamilton.
Yeah. Right.
I grew up near Villa Park and Chambersburg, and I could smell Case's pork roll being made from my house. Loeffler's lunch meats were literally a block down the street from my house till they moved out to a bigger facility. So but growing up around Trenton, you became familiar with the history of Trenton. In schools they taught you about the American Revolution. And so you went to the old barracks in Trenton. You went to Washington's Crossing.
All the time.
All those schools. And they don't do that anymore with a lot of schools.
Yeah, it's too bad.
It's a shame. I mean, very few people know that our state house is one of the oldest state houses in the country.
Yeah.
In Trenton. It's a beautiful building if you ever get to go inside of it.
Yeah, it's nice.
I was a UPS driver down there for 20 years.
Oh, okay.
So I used to, the Trent House, I used to deliver to Trent House was on my route. The guy that founded the city of Trenton. Great place. Beautiful place.
Yeah.
Little people don't know about it as much.
Yeah, and I mean that critical part of history happened right in your backyard.
Yeah, literally. Literally
blows
in your
mind.
backyard.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I used to go out in my backyard and try and look for arrowheads, dig them up from the Indians and the such, and but people don't realize that. So good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. What drew you to history?
I like the different interpretations. It started with just reading about the lives and the events and trying to put myself in the shoes of different people, how would I react in those situations. But it's kind of been a lifelong love. I loved it in high school. I majored in it in college.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And whenever I travel somewhere, I'm always interested in, whether it's local or abroad, just finding out as much as I can about where I'm going.
Right. The Hessian general who was in charge, Colonel Rawl, was in charge of the troops in Trenton.
Right.
He's buried in Trenton. He's buried in a church on East State
I
Street.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
so you don't, because people don't realize that.
Yeah.
There's a bridge that just looks like an unassuming bridge. But if you look on either side of the Assapink Creek, you see the original stone embankments that were created, and that was the bridge that they had to defend after the first Battle of Trenton, that they had to defend the British from coming down from Bordentown down there, because if they had not fought that battle and won the second Battle of Trenton, Washington would have been caught, never would have made it to Princeton. And people don't realize, and that bridge isn't even marked. You can, as a matter of fact, the Huffington Post, or who was it? Maybe one other. Somebody did a really nice piece on that. How it's not even marked. Nobody even knows what it is, unless you're a local historian or you happen to be up on your American Revolutionary type of thing. But and it's neat. And did you ever think, Michael? Did you ever think music is a lot like history? There's so much forgotten stuff that is not, brought about. So you as an artist, okay, as an artist, how do you get to the point where you're so happy with a song that you think, this one may be the one that stands the test of time? And do you ever approach it that way? I mean, how do you approach it?
I guess I don't know if I've really thought about that, whether this stuff will be, people will be listening to it in 20 years. I guess I can only control how I feel about it in the moment.
Okay.
But just when I write a song, just playing it over and over again, putting it aside, coming back to it. 'Cause sometimes I'll play something and I'm like, this is great, and then I'll play it the next day and I'm like, maybe not so much. you know, constantly tweaking lyrics, you know, adding different parts. It's a little hard for me to go back and listen to my older stuff because I just feel like I've kind of evolved a lot. And I'm sure I'm not the only one to say this, you know, stuff you did 5-10 years ago. You know, I didn't know as much about singing. My guitar playing maybe was a little rustier. So, you know, I guess I'm kind of always moving forward.
You know, I do that sometimes with, like, even this show. You know, you look back at the first few episodes and, you know, where I was getting used to talking on a camera to you people at home. And, you know, and you see how it evolves. And especially with my radio program, how I, you know, very first one.
Yeah. It's like anything else.
Like, oh, okay, you know.
Yeah, this is how it works.
Now it becomes, much easier. Pastries.
Mm-hmm.
They're fine-looking pastries, aren't they?
They look delicious.
Nash made the pastry face once again. Nash, are we going to get a close-up of the pastry face? Was that Tom? That's his side? That's you, Tom. Tom's the pastry face guy.
Tom's on it.
Antoinette Boulanger specializes in creating delicate and sophisticated works of art using only the highest quality ingredients. Located at 32 Monmouth Street, right here in the heart of beautiful downtown Red Bank, New Jersey, they're a fully operational bakery with all of the baking done on premises daily. In addition to their handmade variety of croissants and Danish, Antoinette's offers a dizzying array of traditional French pastries, macaroons, cookies, and savory treats. Find them at AntoinetteBoulangerie.com, and Boulangerie is Boulangerie. Boulangerie. They're out of this world.
They look amazing.
And I want to thank Antoinette Boulangerie very much for giving that. That's the dessert.
Yeah, great.
You can have one right now if you want. That's why there's plates there.
Okay.
See?
Maybe after I play.
Okay.
We'll delve into
after.
that.
After. Yeah. Okay. We cannot be held responsible if they're all gone by then.
Oh, okay.
Even these three and the 25 that are out there.
Yeah,
No, you don't have to.
They look pretty intense, though.
They are intense. Yeah. They are. They're like a camping trip. They're intense.
Yeah. Outstanding.
So, all right. So you've got three discs now.
Yeah.
And you feel you've evolved.
Hopefully.
As an artist.
Yeah.
You know. Not evolved like, you know, you walked erect today, you know.
Yeah. Crawled out of the
crawled
ocean.
out of the ocean,
Yeah.
You know. How do you feel you've evolved? I mean, you know, you're still the same songwriter, so you've got some more experiences to draw from, but how do you feel you've matured or grown or ripened or whatever you want to call it as an artist?
You know, I feel like the songs on the latest EP, they're more focused. You know, I used to kind of write songs just that I thought kind of sounded good without really thinking so hard about, you know, making each word count or what every line meant, you know. Sometimes if something just sounded cool or made me think a certain thing, I'd kind of, you know, go with it. But I think it's just the songwriting's more focused now. I think I've just, like you were talking about with the radio show, you know, the first album I was still learning on the job, and you know, now I'm kind of just have a better handle on what works and what doesn't.
Do you remember your first gig, your very first gig in front of like real people? Not your family. Not that they're not real people, but you get the point.
Yeah. You mean as a songwriter or just playing in any capacity?
Any capacity.
Yeah, I used to do, my guitar teacher used to have recitals. He was a guitar and piano guy.
Okay.
So that was, you know, my family, but also all of the students, all of their families.
Sure,
so
it was people other than your
it
family.
was, you know, like 30, 40 people. And he did it in a church, so it's kind of a big space. So, yeah, I remember just being incredibly nervous, you know, just thinking like any mistake was going to be like, you know, catastrophic. Yeah, that was basically the experience, and I also remember feeling good when I was done, and I knew it wasn't perfect, but it was good. It wasn't bad either, and I kind of climbed that mountain. So, yeah.
Well, and that's what, for you to recognize. How old were you when that happened?
Maybe 13.
Okay, so you were a teenager.
Yeah.
Very first gig I ever played, my drum teacher had a band, and his drums, he had a big old set of Fibes drums, clear Fibes, and they sounded like cannons.
Right.
And it was a picnic for a club, actually, that my father belonged to. He lived next to the bar in Chambersburg where we used to have the meetings for this club. So his band naturally had the in.
Yeah.
And they were playing, and he came over to me and he said, I want you to come up with me this next set. And I said, okay. I was thinking why, and I looked at my mom, and she was just like, she didn't know. Mm-hmm. Went up there, he goes, all right, sit down. I said, I was, no.
Yeah.
I was scared to
Threw you right in the deep water, huh?
Scared to death. I mean, there's no video of it, but every picture you can see today, I was 12.
Uh-huh.
Every picture you see, I got my head down playing Twist and Shout by the Beatles.
That's a good
with a
start.
full band live. First time I ever played in public. So,
wow.
And I didn't, as from what I recall, it went over okay.
Yeah.
I was petrified, so I didn't do any fills or anything. But,
simplified it.
Yeah, I'd been playing about 10 months at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, what the heck?
Yeah, I mean, you don't really realize, like, everything's the same. It's just that there's a bunch of people out there watching you. But it is just like, when you're playing with your guitar teacher or in the basement, I don't know.
A lot of people get very bad. Ever get stage fright?
Yeah.
Do you really? Even now?
I mean, a little bit, but not so much now. But I do. I mean, I have a hard time kind of going up and winging things. Like, I have to make sure I know what I'm doing. Like, preparation is one way to kind of deal with that.
That anxiety.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But
so you don't deviate from your script at all? Or
no, I mean, sometimes now that I've played a lot of shows and there's been a lot of repetition and I'm just a little bit more comfortable. Right. I kind of know what to expect in different situations. It's easier. I think when I started, I used to get very nervous, especially for singing, or especially when I started playing as a singer-songwriter. It was tough, just a new
You do
thing.
realize that I'm entirely winging this show right now. Do you realize that?
Oh, I would never have guessed.
Actually, the beauty of this is that Michael is actually dictating the entire conversation. I'm just going off you, big guy. I'm going with the flow.
Okay.
Your script is what I'm following.
All right. Wow.
Okay? So what do you want to talk about next? No, you have to,
Yeah.
That is the truth, by the way. I just...
I believe
this
you.
is natural.
Yeah.
It drives my crew nuts out there, but that's okay.
Yeah, I can tell now.
When a lot of people, they have a lot of tricks. I just emceed a CD release party Friday night for an incredibly talented young artist, a fellow by the name of Charles Larita. Okay. Charles wears dark sunglasses on stage because he's got stage fright.
Okay.
He just, it allows him, and you wouldn't know it by the way he performs and talks to the audience, but he that's his security blanket. Okay. That's his Linus effect. I mean, we all have them, as a musician, we all have. I mean, I'm a drummer, so I'm stuck in the back. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, being in a band makes it easier, because you're leaning on your other bandmates. I think, like, going out by yourself, that was where I started to...
There was a remark made to me one time. I have a friend who runs a concert series called the Candlelight Concert for Epilepsy Awareness.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
There's no more. The series is over, but it lasted for several years. Mm-hmm. And he was a big fan of Jeffrey Gaines. Mm-hmm. And I've seen Jeffrey in his living room a couple times at these house concerts, which eventually evolved into a 300-seat church.
Yeah,
thing.
I saw one of
and
those
he had
shows.
bigger acts and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But the funny part was, I remember thinking to myself, and it was brought to my attention, how you might as well be naked on stage.
Right.
Because if you're a solo acoustic guitarist, you might as well be like the Emperor's New Clothes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you are up there, because if you screw up, there's no band behind you to cover it. You know, if you lose your place in the tune, there's nobody to bail you out while you step away from the microphone.
Right.
You know, it is you and
tricky,
you
yeah.
alone. And I just think I applaud anybody who can get up in front of a room full of people, whether it's 5 or 500,
Mm-hmm.
and do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, because it takes guts.
Yeah.
Because if you screw up, everybody's going to know it.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, though, sometimes like what's a screw up to you isn't always that obvious.
It doesn't go out over.
I mean,
right.
you know, like if you forget the lyrics and you have to stop and start over. I mean, that's one thing, and some people handle that with finesse. You know, they just kind of laugh at it, and you know, but yeah, I mean, that's one lesson that I learned, is that the mistake, like, you never know how it's coming across. So just move on. You know, try not to acknowledge it too much.
Nope.
Unless it's an obvious, like, I forgot the words. Let me start this song over, folks.
You know, this show is live right now.
Right.
My radio program is live, and things happen. You know, if it's a live program, things can happen. Everything from, you know, we had one show on here where, I don't know, do you know Lisa Sherman?
I think so.
Lisa Sherman was on. Lisa's a very good friend of mine, and she was on the program talking about her decades of divas and her time as a Broadway actress and a Rockette, and
Wow.
we lost the visual.
Oh,
YouTube cut out on us. All we had was audio. So of course we played that off, right? That was the show we did naked.
Right.
We did naked YouTube.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, nobody's gonna know, because whether we were or weren't,
Right.
keep you guessing. You know, what's that?
Barrel suits.
Yeah.
Barrel suits.
That's right. We had. They're somewhere over there.
Yeah.
There they are.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
But you know, you learn to just play. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you go with the flow. You play off it. You do what you have to do. And as a performer, you have to.
Yeah.
You know, you have to do that.
Yeah. That's true.
You know, it almost makes you. I often wonder if these guys that have made it big, so to speak, if they ever missed the days where they didn't have somebody taking care of everything for them.
Yeah,
you know.
I guess there's good and bad.
I mean, you
Pro
as
and
as believe me, as a drummer, the first question out of my mouth anywhere is it backlined?
Right. Well, I don't blame you. Yeah.
You know, the older I get, the more I want to know the
Sure.
answer to that question. However, if when you were younger, even, you know, oh, I wish I had somebody we need roadies. I wish I had somebody to do this for me.
Yeah.
And then I wonder if they ever often miss it. Would you miss it?
Just tuning your own guitar.
Tuning your own guitar, setting up your own amp, dealing with the buzz, the hum, the polarity issues.
I feel like I wouldn't now, but it's possible that if I crossed over that line, I would, you know, at some point. But, you know, just to have somebody just making sure everything's fine. Your guitar's in tune, you know, your amp's, you know, perfect.
Laundry's done.
You know, bills are paid. Yeah.
So
That
what's,
sounds like it would be cool.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It'd be nice to get to that
At least
point.
for like a week or so. You
Well,
know?
what do you want from your music, Michael? You talked a little bit earlier about licensing.
Yeah, I mean, those are the practical things. You know, I kind of want to get to a place where I like playing live. I want to be able to do, you know, several shows a month or, you know, even more often than that. Maybe reach like a bigger audience outside of New Jersey, you know, different states, maybe even different countries, you know, and maybe travel a little bit.
Do you have representation that's getting all these discs out there for you, or is this you yourself doing all that?
I'm working with a company. Yeah, they're helping me out. It's called Tinderbox.
Okay.
They're in Minnesota. So they're doing a lot of the legwork and using their name to get the foot in the door.
How'd you find them?
I found them through other musicians. A bunch of people in the area have used them. I think I forget who told me about them originally. I used them for my first EP, which was like 5 years ago. And, things went pretty well. And I just think, the industry's changed a little bit. There's a lot more with social media and, being able to follow up with stations on Twitter and stuff like that.
Do you find it difficult to get through to the program directors? To have anybody get back to you?
Yeah, it can be. A lot of times I'm just sending thank you emails. I don't get a whole lot of responses. But Twitter is, and I've never really used Twitter before the last 6 months, before I kind of started doing this.
Okay.
But that's a way to get a lot of, responses and people sharing what you're posting. Right. Social media has helped, I think, along those lines.
I view it as a necessary evil.
Yeah, and I hear you. There's definitely good and bad, for all that stuff.
I'm pretty sure that social media was created to keep up with your friends and family and to discover new worlds, new people, new talent, new art, new music, new whatever. I'm pretty sure it wasn't created to show me pictures of you about right before you go in for hernia surgery or what you had for dinner last night.
Well, what I mean? Maybe it was. Who are we to say?
Yeah, right. I guess, it's a good way. Maybe I'm being a little.
I guess it's all subjective.
There's an over-assumption there, but it's.
It's changed the way we've communicated. I think for sure. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. A lot of arguments on social media and stuff, and
people get keyboard muscles. Just like beer muscles, they get keyboard muscles.
It's kind of the same thing. I kind of try to keep my stuff to just what I'm up to musically, or just if I need to reach out to somebody, like I think I reached out to you a couple times on Facebook. Just using it as a tool to get in touch with people that I need to get in touch with.
Okay.
And not falling down that rabbit hole of all the other stuff going on there.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Rabbit hole.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Alice in Wonderland. You just keep falling and falling and falling and falling, and people all have opinions.
Yeah, that's true.
Unfortunately, they don't always. Not many people can agree to disagree. That's huge. So what do you have coming up for gigs?
My next gig, I'm actually not playing again so far this month. I have something at the Belmar Arts Council on November the 10th.
And on what's that, 10th Street, 6th Street in Belmar?
I don't know what street it's on.
River Road in Belmar.
Is that right? I'll have to,
get back to you on that. It's been a while since I've had to go there, but yeah.
I know it's near the train tracks.
Yes.
It's like I can picture it. But yeah, so I'm playing there. I'm still kind of working out the details, like who else is going to be playing. I have a few people in mind I'm going to ask.
Okay.
So that's the next big show that's coming up. So that's a ways away.
Okay. Is that a show that you're putting on personally, or?
Yeah, it's going to be me and I think probably one other artist.
Okay. For how long?
I'll probably play like an hour or so.
So it's like a 2-hour show?
Probably, yeah.
About that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. They have, Belmar Arts Council they have all kinds of different events that go on there, from artistic classes to, music events to theater events, comedy troupes.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's a small facility, but it's
but it's a nice space, and I've played there a couple times. It's been a while though. I did my CD release show in June at the Evans. Used to be an Army base. I guess it's in Belmar. but they have like the science and technology museum that they were starting to do music events at. So I kind of got in touch with them through the guy that used to do, Chris Krebs, that used to do the
at
booking.
Belmar,
Yeah. So he does the booking at this new place.
Okay.
So
Is he still at Belmar or no?
No, I guess not. I guess he's doing this now. But he put me in touch with the new guy at Belmar.
Okay.
So I like doing shows like that where I kind of have a little bit of control over, who's playing and, the sound and everything like that. So it should be fun.
As most artists do.
Yeah.
They,
control freaks.
I know, there's several people like that, I know, musicians. But, I guess they view it as that's their product, their baby, their, and that's how they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's fine. People are like that. Some songwriters, they look for any kind of opinion or constructive criticism or help even. Why don't you try it
do.
this way?
Yeah. I mean, I do that too.
So
I'm somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle?
Yeah.
All right, well, the time has come.
Uh-oh.
That was a quick hour, my friend.
Yeah.
We had a history lesson.
We've covered a lot of bases tonight.
We covered all kinds of things this evening. So, whoop, there you go. Missed my pocket, Nash. I'm going to go over here while you go over there.
All right.
And
sounds good.
There you go.
You want me
to get up that way? Yep. You go that way. I'm going to go that way because I need to pull this cord here.
All right.
Beautiful. And while you're setting up for that, oh my gosh, I'm going to talk about Mammoth music. Oh, geez. Here we go. All right. Come over here and see Tom. How are you, Tom?
Good, yourself?
I am fantastic. Established in 1987, Mammoth Music is located in the center of historic Red Bank, New Jersey, which was recently voted the third best town in the United States by Smithsonian Magazine. Located within walking distance of the famed Count Basie Theater, the Red Bank train station, and many of the town's fine eateries, Mammoth Music continues the tradition of being a destination store for musicians of all levels, both beginner through professional. New owner Mario DiBartolo, a lifelong musician himself, offers a wide selection of brand-name instruments at everyday low prices, both new and used. With personal, professional, and expert service that only a family-owned and operated store can provide. Michael, does the neck of your guitar or your banjo need repairing? Do you even own a banjo?
I don't own a banjo.
Okay, all right.
But if I did and it needed repairing,
You bring it here, right? That's right. Do the valves on your saxophone need to be refitted? Regardless of what day it is, bring your instrument to Mammoth Music for quality repairs. You'll enjoy the prompt service from a team of repairmen who are always available. And again, I want to thank Mario for allowing us for the last 50 weeks. 50 weeks of OneMore with Danny Coleman. I want to thank him for allowing us to set up shop here. And if you're a musician, come on down. Make sure you mention that you saw Mammoth Music on OneMore with Danny Coleman. And maybe Mario will surprise you. Who knows? Although he might be surprised right now. But my guest tonight was Michael Askin. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back to wrap it up as soon as Michael's done. We're going to give it to him right now.
Thanks for having me. This is a song called Road by the River. It's the title track from my new disc. I feel free when I feel this much sun. Well, it don't last long, so I'm gonna get me some. I get high when the light spills through the leaves. I'm in love with the road, I'm in love with the water and the trees. I take the road by the river when I need to leave behind all the doubts and the worries that keep flashing through my life. And I can't fight this rushing tide. I take the road by the river when I need to wash you off of my mind. Now the water moves and it slips through the rocks in the stream. There ain't no mystery, baby, why it's just as simple as it seems. I remember you standing on the banks as the wind moved your hair. Oh, I've been wrong before, it just seemed like it'd always be there. I take the road by the river when I need to leave behind all the doubts and the worries that keep flashing through my life. And I can't fight this rushing tide. I take the road by the river when I need to wash you off of my mind. This day has spent itself. It's cold for this time of year. Yeah, I'm back up on the shelf. Ooh, 'cause fear is all I really have to feel. Da, da, da. Now the sun's going down and a late summer breeze chills the air. I've been driving a while, I just haven't really gone anywhere. I'll be alright, baby, I'll be alright now. I just need a little time. Well, it goes like this when the whole thing stops on a dime. Thank you. And this is a song I mentioned earlier called Hard to Make a Living. Counting the money at the end of the night. Somebody sweeping up the broken glass. It's a sobering sight. Idle chatter, artificial light. I'm singing a love song, my eyes closed. Doesn't feel right. Trying to show what I'm made of, 'cause it's hard to make a living singing about love. Sat in an office chair and I worked on a line I drove nails for a living. I wasted my time here. I've been told to join the club, 'cause it's hard to make a living singing about love. Yes, it's hard to make a living singing about love. Well, I gave my heart, I offered my soul. I never laid my head down on an altar of gold. They came to the garden, dance in the sun, taste the freedom, the kind that dissolves on your tongue. How those storms, 'cause it's hard to make a living dancing in the sun, just like it's hard to make a living singing about love. Oh yes, it's hard to make a living singing about love, singing about love, singing about love. Thank you. For my last song, I'm going to do another track from the new EP. It's called Last Train. Thanks again for having me, guys. It's been awesome. Thanks, Danny. This is the last train from the city that will run tonight, as it carries us through the darkness. I hold you tight. This is the last ride off the island where the light nearly left your eyes. You caught my hand on the way down, and it saved your life. Well, I have wandered without you, and you have traveled alone. You and I caught the last train, baby. Oh, this is the last train from the city, and it hums quietly through the dark. Now we're drifting through Rahway, through Asbury Park. Well, I wander without you, and you have traveled alone. You and I caught the last train, baby. Home. The last train home. The last train. Thank you.
Michael Askin, thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for making the appearance here tonight.
My pleasure.
On One More with Danny Coleman. What's your again social media?
Just go to www.michaelaskin.com. That'll take you to my Facebook and all the links to my music.
michaelaskin.com. There you go. If you liked what you saw here tonight, and your next gig is
November 10th, Belmar.
November 10th at the Belmar Arts Council. Belmar Arts Council. Is it org?
I think so.
I think it's .org. Belmar, BELMAR, artscouncil.org. Right? Yeah. All right. Somebody said to me one time, everything in life is temporary. And they're right. Everything in life is temporary. So, after 50 episodes of One More with Danny Coleman, tonight was my last show. I want to thank Matt and Mike, everybody at Carousel Arts, Mario DiBartolo for having me here and taking a chance. Nash, Tom, you guys are literally my right and left arm. Thank you all very much for your support. Thank you, everybody watching on Long Branch Cable Channel 20. One More will go on. It'll go on with a new host. So I want to thank everybody at Carousel Arts for their efforts. So, until next week, stop on by for One More. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.